Welcome to the Parent Light with two of your mentors from the Ascension School of Spirituality. I am Wendi Sexton, a certified life coach and energy healer.
And I'm Jennifer Pister, intuitive energy healer and a marriage family therapist. And today we wanted to just talk briefly about holidays and how over the years they can keep changing how you celebrate them with your family. And um, sometimes there's disappointments or expectations and how that plays. How do you adjust to it? I know we just had holidays. So Wendy, do you want to start off?
Yeah, for me, I came from a big family, um, both on my mom and my dad's side. There's lots of aunts and uncles and lots of cousins. And um, so I was really used to holidays being a big deal, could be 50 people, 60, 80, who knows. Um, and what a joyous time that is to get together and to see people that maybe we haven't seen in a while. And, um, you look forward to those holidays. And if you're in a relationship, those dynamics change based on what your partner or your spouse, what their family experience is and their traditions are, and trying to blend those. Um, and I know for us, even before kids, it just meant there was a lot more busy time that, instead of what I was used to going, to my two sides of my family, now I've got another family. So maybe we're making 3 or 4 stops in a day. Um, and it gets to be a little more challenging when you're wanting to see everybody and looking forward to that experience. Um, how about you? Have you?
Well, my family and my husband's family are a similar size, although I had a lot more cousins. So if it was some kind of bigger event, but they definitely had different traditions, and it was easier to navigate when before children,
Mhm.
right? And then that keeps evolving as the children are getting older, and depending on where you live compared to both families. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, the one thing I noticed is I used to love the holidays. I enjoyed both different places,
Mhm.
and but there was a point where I realized, oh, I'm not looking forward to this holiday. And somebody suggested to me that I really think about what would make the holiday really great. So I I actually spent some time really diving into that, and I realized that I wanted the kids to be more engaged
Mhm.
with the adults and to do a little bit more, something more meaningful. We're both of our families are great at eating, and um, and it's not that there's not meaning in the tradition, but we got the kids together with their cousins before, having the big meal, and they created a play that they had a blast creating, and it was very, very short and casual, but then they got to perform for their grandparents and their aunts and uncles at dinner. And I felt like that one shift changed how I felt about the holiday, because um, it was so much fun before we even got to dinner. um,
Mhm.
so that was just one thought. Just spending that little bit of time thinking what would make it meaningful to me, like what would make it fun. Because often it's easy to be clear about what's not as fun, but to intentionally try to create something, even if it's a brand new tradition, something that you really enjoy.
Yeah, that's really neat. That makes me think of I remember when I was little, and we would get together, especially at Christmas, and getting some Christmas gifts from the grandparents. But then as the families grew and there's more kids, it's hard to buy for so many. Um, but when I had kids and with my cousins, we started doing the name swap. So we would, kind of set that up at Thanksgiving of who they were going to swap with at Christmas. And, all the kids, they were excited about that they were going to, receive something, but they were really excited about, oh, well, are they going to like my present? So seeing that excitement about giving too. Um, and then for the adults, we would do a white elephant to make it just a little bit more fun. But again, something engaging. But I really like that idea of something that doesn't have to involve a thing, but they're exchanging their energies and creating something together. So that's a really sweet idea. I like that. I think one of the, like you mentioned, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm not looking forward to it anymore. For me, that would come with, how do we divide ourselves? How do we, you know, our goal is to spend that quality time with my immediate family, with my husband's immediate family. Um, and yet it sometimes feels like a little tug of war, because as we grow, you know, where I used to be the child, now I'm the adult with kids, and my cousins are the same way, and my husband's family is the same way, grown with kids. And as our numbers get bigger, we're dividing. This one has to go to their in-laws, and this one goes to their in-laws, and this one happens they have a divided home, so they've got like four sets of in-laws. It's like, so we would start to, maybe we'll do it the weekend before or the weekend after or something like that. um, and that really helped to lighten the load for me and for the family, that, you know what, it doesn't matter when we celebrate it, as long as we get to see you. um, so now with, my mom's family, I should know this number by heart, but I feel like she's one of 11, quite a few anyways. And so you can imagine the amount of, I'm a grandkid and my kids, and some of them have kids. So that's the groups that would get into the 80s and hundreds. Um, that's where they would start Christmas, like on a Saturday in the beginning of December, you know. Um, so just some ways to say, you know what, the day has definitely significant meanings, based on your faith, your tradition, your family. Um, but I think it really comes down to just enjoying being together and figuring out how that works. And
Yeah.
maybe it's in January if you're looking at Christmas.
It's true. Like I know my family does reunions in the summer, so it can all be outdoors. And I was thinking, like one other thought that came up is about how many people have told me this year that they are so relieved that with COVID that they didn't have to do the big gatherings um, for holidays. And to that, I feel like everybody got this kind of break, and then it's a perfect time to think about what do you want to create going forward. Like if you know you could completely change it this last year because you had to with COVID, it can really give you that pause to take the time and think what do you want to recreate. It doesn't have to be the way it always has been if that is now creating too much stress. So you can shift something in yourself to not stress as much about it, or you can shift what the event is, the way you gather with the people you love, so it won't be as stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've done, I love how you bring that up, because I think personally, especially if you're a new parent or younger parent, or somewhere in that role, there does come a point where there's like this tug of wanting the traditions you were used to,
Mhm.
but you're also creating that new tradition for your specific family, your children, your spouse, or whatever that looks like. And we've done that to a degree where we decided, this, when the kids were babies, you could pack them up and go, and they didn't really know the difference. But once they, hit that younger grade school and even middle school, and they want time after, if you celebrate Christmas and get those presents, they want time to play with them. They don't want to pack up and leave. Like, what? We just got this. I got to try it out, or I need to build the bike, or whatever it is. Um, so we decided, just for giving that peace and giving more, um, of a pause in the day, so that we can enjoy it and not feel like we're just running on empty. The one things we shifted is we alternate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day now, instead of trying to hit them up both on both days. And whoever we see on Christmas Day, then the other one we see on Thanksgiving Day, and then celebrate Thanksgiving on an alternate day for that. And then just alternate every year. And, it's still hard. I miss personally seeing family on Christmas Day just as much as we miss it, for my family or for his. But I think it's just, finding that space that compromises, what feels right at that time, and knowing that each year we can adjust to what still honors our family the best that we can figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way you said, you're describing how being adaptable and,
Mhm.
yeah, and creating tradition.
Yeah, and that's tough because you still want what you used to have, but you want something a little bit adjusted to your family unit. Um, so it's like re- getting more of what you want, but also releasing a little bit of what you also want at the same time. So it's a little fine tuning there.
Yeah, well, change is inevitable. Like it's going to have to change. It just does,
Mhm.
whether we like it or not. Yeah. So how to make the most of it, it sounds like it's what you're talking about too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just want you to remember that you're already a better parent than you think you are. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.